Hi, I'm Adam Summer. You're listening to the Yerushalmi Talk podcast with the support of the Yeshivat Javar Yerushalayim in Har Nof, Jerusalem. Real quick, I want to give a Torah insight about Peah and try to give some context about what's going on with Peah and why it really does matter for you to know how it works and get it. So here's the deal, right? We were looking yesterday in chapter 2, Halacha 5, and we know that from that halacha that the temple is not allowed to separate Peah. And we know that the optimal way to leave Peah is that you have the stalks that are still standing and you're designating from that. And there's a case where, well, what happens if they cut all the sheaves, there's no more standing grain at all. And then what happens is they want to go and designate Peah. Well, in that case, you would leave it from the sheaves. But what happens if they designated the sheaves to the temple? They've already designated it to the temple. Now the temple has it. Are they allowed to use the sheaves to go for meal offerings, grain offerings, or alternatively, could the temple take an olive harvest and take it to turn it into oil for the menorah, for example? And the answer is no. You're not allowed to. The temple would not be allowed to. In fact, the temple would not be allowed to take any kind of offering like that would be used for an offering for something with a temple service, because Peah is somewhere in that produce. The Peah obligation is somewhere there. Inside of there, in either the sheaves or the olives, is the Peah. And we know that you're not allowed to bring an offering that is a result from theft or has some sort of calculation where there's theft in there somewhere, in that way of you bringing a business and doing business and then bringing through all your transactions, coming and getting quote unquote profit to take and then to bring an offering. If any of that money has theft inside of it, it's a blemished offering. And you get very deep punishments for bringing an offering where it has robbery in it. And so the temple is not going to be allowed to accept offerings where Peah was not done, because inside of there is a biblical thing where part of that property that you've designated has somebody else's property in it. Whose property is it? It's the poor person. So the temple can't designate it out. They can't separate it out. They're not allowed to. It has to be separated out from the first person who is the owner. So you can see that when the temple gets rebuilt, there's going to be a process of hechsher where they're going to have to check to make sure that Peah is properly given. So that if you're not doing Peah and you don't know how to do Peah, a lot of the offerings that you think you're going to be able to bring, you're not going to be able to bring. And the punishment for bringing a blemished offering is so much higher than for something that has theft inside of it. So just something to keep in context. Another thing I want to give for a context to give some inspiration on why learning Peah is so important comes from Nefesh HaChaim, Gate 4, Chapter 9. And it says like this. It says, the prophet in Ezekiel 47:12 says, along the stream will grow every species of food tree. And commenting on this verse, Tana de Eliyahu says, what kind of trees will grow along this stream? The trees are scholars who possess the knowledge of Torah, Halacha, Mishnah, Agada, good deeds, and practical experience. And since they love the Torah, God has mercy on them, giving them wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and insight to do good deeds and learn Torah. And everything is put in order for them. So it comes back to this idea that Torah learning really is trying to understand what the blueprint of the world is. And you can't do temple services without Peah being done right. And we're going to get into Kalayim, where what happens when you're bringing wine libations, where there could be Kalayim that's there. You have a big problem as well. So it's really important to learn this stuff and to learn the context. Because again, it might not seem like a big deal if you bring something that has some theft inside of it. Because what's the penalty for theft for grain? You just pay double. But the penalty for bringing an offering that's blemished with robbery is very serious. It's very, very serious. So you have to know this stuff, and you have to know how to identify this stuff and to sharpen the mind so that you're not acting in a way where you're permitting theft, particularly your own personal life.